Enjoyed that conversation with Scott Fox, the music director and on-air personality for WCPR. And CPR Fest is sort of part of the culture of coastal Mississippi. It's so great to have it back, and they're looking forward to a great year. Enjoyed visiting with him. So now, as I mentioned to you yesterday, I wanted to invite my friend Sonny Schindler back. We kind of gave the latest on the fishing scene in coastal Mississippi from his perspective. Captain Sonny Schindler from Sure Thing Charters, but I discovered in our conversation that they do an annual event with veterans, and I wanted to invite him back today since we're actually pre-recording this because they're off the water because of a nice blow and rain event that's coming through. So I wanted to invite him back and just chat a little bit about this veterans event, how it came about, and what they're doing. It's actually grown into something pretty significant. But without any further ado, let me say good morning again to my friend, Captain Sonny Schindler. How you doing, Sonny?
Good morning again. How are you?
It's good to see you, my friend. So you guys, just kind of quietly doing this veterans event. So how did it come about? And then we'll kind of build it up to where it is now.
Yeah, I don't remember the year. It was 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. There was a local lady, Granny. They call her Granny Gresher. And she called one day, and she had a couple soldiers in town that wanted to go. And weather was terrible. I mean, terrible. And I said, look, I don't even know if we can get out of Bayou Caddy, And she said, that's fine. We'll fish in Bayou Caddy. And sure enough, I mean, it was like 100 yards out of Caddy. We were all drenched and whatnot, but we had a good time, and they were really appreciative, and you could tell it was just they needed it, So the next year, it was like 2 boats, and the next year it was 5 boats, and eventually, just weird coincidence, luck, fate, I started fishing a General Bill Glasgow from up at Camp Shelby. And I was telling him about it and, scheduling and whatnot. And I think one year we did something with Air Force. Captain Darren put something together and it went well. And I was like, man, I don't have the know-how or the resources to pull this together. And, I'm from the mindset, if I don't know how to do it, I find someone smarter than me, which isn't hard because I'm a bumbling idiot. But we were on the boat, and General Bill's he's a cool dude. And he says, how many you need? And at the time, I think we were like it was something like 20 or 30. I said, 20 or 30, kind of mocking him, like, can you pull that off? And it was like, beep, beep, bop, one text. He leans back and says, what day you need him? And I said, this day. Beep, beep, bop. What time? Beep, beep, bop. And it was done. One text message. He had set the whole thing up. And he's got a really great guy that works for him, Dustin Robinson. And I've known Dustin for many years now. He and his wife, Michelle, and their son, Alec, they handle all the logistics. We just say date, time. And this year, so last year we had to reschedule because of weather and personnel scheduling. A couple of them got called in for something, and I think the weather was really bad. So we kept playing the shell game with the calendar of this weekend, this date, and that some of them were doing duty and drill and deployment, and we had to push it all the way from last fall to April 1st. And when I started asking around, some of our guys book a year out. Well, it was the first big weekend where we had the majority of our fleet. But I didn't want to tell Dustin we were going down. We've grown it every year. So I called Ronnie Daniels, our friend, and then I called the guys from Grand Pass. Who's that? Clay Necase, Josh Ellis, Eddie Peterson, Jeremy Skinner. Boom. So we got 13 boats instantly, and Dustin filled them immediately. And then we texted our other friend, Thomas Jenin, with the Blind Tiger. And I said, look, because he always does free meals for veterans and active on Veterans Day. And I said, man, could we maybe have a second Veterans Day on April 1st? And it was not even an issue. His reply was, how many, what time? And it was like 50 something people, 11 a.m. And look, when we rounded that corner after the trip, and I'll tell you about the trip, but when we rounded that corner after the trip, we had a wind that was, pulling into the Bay St. Louis Harbor, and the wind's coming off the Blind Tiger, and you're smelling crawfish and burgers cooking. It was awesome. But the trip, everybody left the harbor, and we were all working off a text thread, 13 of us. And I ran a little further west. The rest of the guys went into the bay, so they were fishing well before I even pulled the throttle back on the boat. And as I'm pulling the throttle back on the boat, my phone is just bling, bling, bling. Well, they're all just sending pictures, and all day, every other minute, bling, bling. And they're just, it's nothing but smiling faces and people holding up fish and cutting up and laughing. And we're all goofing off on the radios. And the boats, I think a couple of the boats had 5 people and most of us had 4. But I mean, it was a hoot. And they loaded them up as fast as we could clean them. We had Dustin's son running fish up to the Tiger. So in addition to the crawfish and the burgers, they were cooking fresh fish. It's just fun. The guys at the Bay Harbor, the harbor master and them, they had PJ's Coffee bring coffee first thing in the morning. And it didn't take a lot to pull this off. Like everybody, oh, thank you so much. And this is what we do. We fish. Our way of saying thank you is taking them fishing. I mean, if you got a lawn care service or a legal service or whatever, if you're a dog groomer or a doctor, you got a way of saying thank you to soldiers or people you want to say thank you to. This is our way of doing it. But guys like Thomas and the Grand Pass guys and Ronnie, that it was what day, what time you need me there. And they look instantly. It was
That's incredible. Where is it? Is it all branches of the military or one specific branch? And where are they coming from?
Almost all of them came out of Shelby. And Dustin, I think Dustin pulls mostly Army and Marines. Like I said, we've done the Air Force. But it's some of them are veterans. Some of them are active. Some of them just got back from deployment. Some of them are about to go. Men, women, young and old. I mean, and it's neat, here and there, they've got some amazing stories. Some of them are just the funniest things you've ever heard. Some of them are they're pretty tough. They're pretty tough to listen to. But that's all we do. We just listen. If they want to talk about, their kid's soccer game, we'll listen to it. If they want to talk about some of the bad stuff they've seen, we're there. We're just there to have fun and show them a good time.
So it's not just veterans; it's active duty as well. So that's
absolutely,
that's just more of a sort of a military appreciation. But the fact that it turned into 56. What a wonderful way to give back to the community. And it's amazing that you could reach out to other charter boat companies and get their participation with one phone call. But it just shows how close the charter boat community is to one another, doesn't it? It
is. And Ronnie does his something cool you need to hear about is his buddy ball tournament for the kids. He brought us all on for it last year, and we've already reserved our spots for this year. Ronnie does a good job on that one, man. That one's and it's big. It's something you definitely need to.
Yeah, well, we've actually had shows about it, and the way that he gets so much active participation from so many important organizations to be able to introduce, in some cases, kids that have never been fishing before. What a wonderful thing. But, it's part of the deal. And, but it's a lot of work. So it's not just, you got to be committed and to pull that off the way you guys did. It sounds like y'all got as much from it as the military guys got from it.
Oh, we love it. I mean, it's our fun thing. And look, we just show up. Dustin, and General Bill, and they do all the hard stuff. They're organizing. Some of these guys, from the time we book it till we go, they get deployed and have to go help somebody. But
hey, what would you with Captain Sonny Schindler talking about sort of a military / veterans appreciation event they do every year? 56 fishermen were involved this year with active participation from at least 3 charter boat companies. We'll come back on the other side and take a look at some of the pictures, and we'll tell you what we're looking at. See you after this break. Welcome back to Coast Vue. 2 days in a row with my friend Captain Sonny Schindler. And sort of the way it works, I'll tell you about that, is that when these guys work just about every single day, they're going to, if it's nice outside, they're probably going to be fishing. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. But Sonny will let us know if he's going to be off the water. And it gives us an opportunity to do some shows to catch up with him. And he's usually only going to be out the water if they've got what he calls a big blow, which we're having now. And when this airs, it will have been last Wednesday and Thursday that this surface level low came through coastal Mississippi and gave us higher than normal tides and some wind and some rain. So let's get back to Sonny. And we were talking about the military and this veterans event they do every year. This year was the beginning of April, and they had tremendous response from the military community, several from Camp Shelby, some I'm assuming National Guardsmen, but maybe some Marines as well. But the reality is they had a great time, 56 of them together. 3 different charter boat companies sort of donated their time and energy and effort to this. Thomas Jenin over in Bay St. Louis also was engaged. And man, when you can reach out to somebody like Thomas and him just on a whim agree to feed that many people, that's no small donation that he's making.
No, and I left out his manager, Libby. She we were working off the same text thread together, and like I said, it was never anything other than what time and where, how many, and there was never a maybe, even anything close to a no. And Libby and Thomas and the servers, I mean, they had their hands full when we got back because everybody, captain, crew, my dad was up there eating. My dad was a veteran. He didn't fish, but he came to lunch with us. And we filled up the whole back patio of that restaurant and just food, beers and crawfish and drinks and hamburgers nonstop. It was, and you know how hungry you get.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
After a morning on the water, it was impressive.
Sonny, what's interesting to me is where this is playing out. I can't help but think about Hurricane Katrina and what it did to Waveland and Bay St. Louis. And 5 weeks after the storm, within the Governor's Commission on Recovery, Rebuilding, and Renewal, we had what is called a charrette, an architectural brainstorming session with over 100 architects and planners from around the world, including the Prince of Wales Foundation sent two people to participate. They volunteered their time, incidentally. And we did 11 consecutive cities, or 11 cities consecutively. So there was a charrette around Waveland, another one around Bay St. Louis and Pasquarchan and Bay, and so on. And the one with Bay St. Louis, they envisioned a marina being sort of part of the future. And it was hard for the mayors and others to get their head around how we're going to get from where we are now, where people are still worrying about where their food's going to come from, to this vision of rebuilding Bay St. Louis and building a harbor. We'd never even envisioned Bay St. Louis having this harbor. And look where we are today. And look how it plays such an incredible role in your work. And being able to, like, doing the veterans event and, pull in from a great day of fishing and be able to feed them. And that scene is, man, that is incredible, isn't it?
It is, man. That whole downtown, you know, with the harbor, the restaurants, the Pearl, all the shops, you know, and I'm sure you're like me. Katrina feels like it was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Even though we've come so far in a relatively short period of time, but man, you know, I'm just proud of my town, proud of the state, and you know, these guys I work with, everybody. We just get it done. It's not fun. It's not pretty. It's dirty. A lot of early mornings and late nights, but you know, it's small potatoes compared to what those people we took fishing. You know, me getting up in the wee hours of the morning to go track down bait and launch a boat. That's nothing compared to what those men and women do. And for anybody to forget that, it's you shouldn't.
So you start your veterans event from the Bay St. Louis Harbor right there. How long of a run is it to where you actually fished?
So I made the long run, and I was wrong. I was wrong to do it. We caught fish. The folks that stayed in the bay and barely got their boats on a plane, they were on the bite all day. And they didn't let me forget that because I was, you know, I was swinging for the fence. I wanted, we caught some beautiful redfish, but they just stayed in the drum and the sheephead. A couple of them caught some trout, but it was nonstop. Like I told you before we got in the lake, I ran all the way down to Lake Bourne. So I ran, I don't know, 12 miles. Some of the other boats ran, you know, a couple hundred yards, but they were, that's just where they were. I was trying to swing for the fence, and we did good, but yeah, we pretty much had them from Back Bay to Lake Bourne, and everywhere in between. Some of those nearshore reefs, Taylor Reef, Jailhouse Reef, but the best stuff was right there.
Hey, listen, man, I have swung for the fences many, many times, and sometimes it paid off big time. Other times I passed, mats of sargassum on the way, loaded with dolphin and whatever, and said, why didn't we just stay there all day and have a good time? Anyway, listen, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you, man. Thank you and your fellow charter boat captains for doing this military day and for sharing that wonderful story with us. That's awesome that you guys give back like that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
You bet, my friend. You're a good friend to Coast Vue. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.